All right, my people, welcome back to the garage. This episode, we're gonna go ahead and start hacking off these strut towers. We're gonna hack them off on both sides, then we're gonna get our new tops, get them cut, welded, and that should be it for that. So it's just a matter of finishing up the suspension pieces from the standpoint of welding them in, getting all the angles just right. So let's hop on to it and start cutting. So I may have mentioned this in a previous episode. The only thing I want to be careful of is all these lines right here, because I don't want to damage them. I don't want to replace them if we don't have to. Though I am planning on replacing the fuel lines later on down the road, I don't want to do it right this second. So we're going to be careful when we're cutting this. I'm going to cut into this right here, and then I'm going to use snips to cut around and cut all the way down. Right, so I thought that side was interesting. This side's gonna be even better. This is just a small hole in here, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. And then for cutting this entire side, I got the slave cylinder right here, the steering shaft linkage, the bearing for it. So it's gonna be interesting cutting this side out. So let's give it a go and see what it looks like. All right. Well, shoot. We got both of the top hats cut off. Couple little abrasions, but no nicks that are out of limits on the lines. Like I said though, I am going to be replacing most of those anyways down the road, just not right now. Got a little bit of an angle on these, but we'll worry about cutting those down later. No big deal. We got this cut level on both sides. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bring our top hats in here, see what they look up here, and then we'll start measuring everything out. All right, so this is what our top hats look like right here. Somewhere to put it. We'll need one to show you guys. So here we go. Pretty good. I wish they would have cleaned up all the slag off it first. I don't know if you guys can see that, but whatever. Maybe we'll do it later. All this is gonna do is this is gonna end up getting notched out right here for a frame. So we have some measuring ahead of us. Height, position, everything, and then width-wise, because you have to notch it out deep enough where it's 37.5 inches centered to the center from the center point of this.
One eternity later.
All right. Well, it's been a week. Had some time to think about this whole situation, and have a discrepancy. So I got the instructions right here, and one set of instructions is telling me from the center of the mounting hole for the lower control arm to the top of the hat, it's supposed to be 9 1/4. Now, this directly conflicts with this one right here that's telling us use the gauge plate, which the measurements are back here, and we made our gauge plate, which is somewhere here. Anyways, so that set of instructions is telling us that put the gauge plate on there, and the top of the hat is supposed to line up with the top of the gauge plate. Well, when we do that, there's about 1.5 inches difference between measuring the 9 1/4 and measuring using the gauge plate. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put the lower control arm and the upper control arm on there with a spindle into place, and they're supposed to be pretty much parallel at that point. So that's going to give us a pretty good indicator which set of instructions is correct on this. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll see what it is. So right now, we got it lined up, and it looks like the first set of measurements is correct at the 9 1/4. So that puts us at an interesting predicament because we have to notch out the frame rail down about 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the top, which is fine. We just gotta cut it down, box it in, and then weld the top to it. Alright, so we got it all cut out on this side. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and cut a piece of sheet metal and box this in. And then we're going to take, scribe it, carry it over to the other side, do the same thing. So here's where we're at. We have this notched out, we have it boxed in, we have it supported by those two inner sleeves. So now we got to figure out the center of this, which we already did by our backing plate, the point right here. So this is going to back up right up onto this metal, and we'll weld it to it. And then we got our height measurement on here. And because we put this up at the angle that we needed at for anti-dive already, all we have to do is cut it the same depth on both these sides. Now, next step we have is from center of the post here to the center of the other post is 37.5 inches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a level, put it across the top of the motor here, and then we're gonna take and do 2 drop strings at 37.5 inches. Once we have that set and we have the same distance from the frame rail on both, same distance on here, we'll make sure that this point is the same distance from the frame rail, and that will give us our center point, make sure that we are able to take and notch in the exact same on both sides. So let's get to it. Well, as you can see, both sides are on there. Still got to do a little bit of touch-up welding on it, but it's no big deal. Right now, the only problem is I ran out of weld wire, so I got to go pick some more up. It's been a rough day. It's been hot, humid. I'm miserable, sweating, covered in rust, but we got her done. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.